Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me in the Microsoft User Governance User Group. We have another session for moderating and detecting harmful AI content. Before I go through this again, I want to emphasize that we're looking for speakers actively, and we have opening where we could share thoughts about governance and how to protect and govern and moderate the IT infrastructure, the cloud in general, and the latest generative AI in its entirety, and how we could progress to be a more governed estate that could be utilized more for organizations. I'll put in a couple of details about the user group so you could join in and connect with us on various channels on YouTube and on GitHub. We have a GitHub repo where all the presentations and the code would be uploaded eventually. Today we have a session about moderating and detecting AI content. I have with me my partner in crime, Glenn, who's a lead architect with me at Atea. I am a consultant at Atea, and we run this user group. And if you're here, thank you for joining us. I hand it over to Glenn to introduce you to the topic and take you through it. Glenn, you can share your screen now, and I'll stop my sharing.
Yes, thank you, Mohit. Let's find the presentation.
Yeah.
Go. Yes, let me see the presentation, Mohit.
Yes, so yes, I can.
Yes, today we will like to talk a little bit about how to start and moderate and detect harm in AI. First of all, it's going to be Azure Open AI we're going to discuss and look a little bit into how easy it is to implement a service that is called content safety. This is a service that can protect and mitigate known threats to AI, like prompt shields with scan text for risk and prevent user attack into LLM modules. It's has a groundless detection that detect whatever the text response of these LLM are grounded in a source provided by the users. And it has material text detection and analyzing API and analyzing image as well, image scan, where you can scan for example, sexual content, violence, hate, and self-harm with different type of multi-severity levels. Towards preventing these scenarios, Microsoft has offered AI Content Studio Safety, which is an online tool that has its mission to safeguard users by analyzing text and images for, like as I said, sexual content, video, violence, hate, and self-harm into the AI models. It could prevent the jailbreak detection, where, for example, malicious actors use different type of adversarial inputs that can result in that the AI model is it's compromised and completely ignored, and it will be built-in safety instructions. It has mission to protect the material text by detecting scanning AI generated text for known text content. For example, they can protect song lyrics, articles, recipes, and different type of selected web content. There is some key scenarios. This one is well used. It's for example, online marketplace that they want to moderate their product catalogs and the use of generated content that has API integration to these LLM modules. There can be media companies that implement this to have a centralized service that they can configure moderation of all their content that is available for prompts and things like that. And there is social messaging platforms that can use this one as well, to moderate, for example, images and text added by the users of their social platforms. You also have there's a scenario where you can use this, for example, online education solution that can use this to filter chats and content that is inappropriate for students and educators. And so this tool is to handle potentially offensive, risky, or undesirable content using this edge technology to moderate ML modules. You have like included some out-of-box filters which we can do, and you have like terms block list where you can add different type of words and phrases, and also regex queries, so you can pick up this type of prompts that is injected. And this one also help you to continuously monitoring and keep this performance up and running on your models. I want to show a little bit how this one works. Get 2 seconds here.
Glenn, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is prompt shielding?
Prompt shielding is like you prevent injection of, for example, you can input some. There's a scientific research that you can actually, for example, you have in your model you have different type of prices, or you have different type of, for example, you are car sales, and then you will have the list of category and the different list of all the cars you have. Then probably if you inject a code that can ask for something into the ML module that you don't want it to show, if you understand, that's prompt injection.
You're like is it like confusing the model to do something that it is not supposed to do?
Yeah. Then you use prompt injection.
And is the groundness detection, is it preventing hallucination from
yeah more or less. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much. Yeah.
I will go through this later. Yep. Yes, we have in this demo set up like a hub for where we can create different type of deployments and models. What you see here is like you have this content filter function here as well. This is more for search prevent inappropriate content directly into the models to create block list. You have, when you set up, you have different type of roles in Azure that we have been using. I go here, and I can show you project overview settings. Let's see. Yeah, because this content service has like different type. You have a connection and you have a connection key that need to be used. So when you're connecting to this service, you are using this via API key, so you can use this built-in moderating services. So we have connected this content with this API key. We go over to this OpenAI Studio, and then you will see you have the models, the deployment with the models, and also the content filtering. I have created a standard content filtering for this one with different type of severity. It's built in. You can also update this one by adding different type of block list as well. This is for the models you are using. When it comes to protecting prompts and on the API that connect to this one, we're using content safety here.
And this is different than the one that is protecting model. This is protecting the things that are built on the model.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Using the model.
Correct. So what we have defined here is we are defining the content safety solution. For now, it's only this can only run in hero zones like East US and West Europe. It's not available in Norway yet, but it's coming. So I want to show you this tab here. This is a way where you can actually train this one and use it to see how it affects your application. What I will show here is that how to moderate content. Behind here you can like see which code this is generating. This one you actually have different type of language you can use, what you prefer, and you implement this in your infrastructure in your API and things like that. Then Mohit will show this one later. So, for example, I take some. This is a sample where there is a store that sells camping equipment, a camping store. So they recently used. There are some comment. They have them on their web page. You see that this one is allowed because it's not hard. They are just feedback, and it was great. This product. This could be a comment or feedback from the customer that is integrated into the portal. If I try to ingest some more harmful content, it's an example of a feedback from a customer. I recently bought a tent and I have to say I'm really disappointed. Yeah, and it's probably more harsh feedback then. Yes, you see it's okay, but if I change these levels here, for example, for hate, I change that to low and run the test again. I see it's blocked. And by the category hate. Yeah. So now you see if you view the code here now, you see that this one has changed. Because this changed the hate. Yeah, it's difficult to see on the screen, but sorry, there you go. You see this category hate now is number 2. And this one can also, this LLM can also detect misspelling or something. For example, we do that back to Medium. For an accident, I use it. So it doesn't matter where actually.
Okay.
So
it has the ability to predict spelling mistakes, like the autocorrect situation.
yeah. So it doesn't detect now. So if I, for example, if I do violence here to low, that will be blocked because this poor raccoon was shocked and died. So, yeah.
Glenn, does it work with the star? I mean, sometimes hate comments are like they do not use the right spelling, but they also use, a psychological spelling where they put in the stars and the hyphens and stuff. Does that work?
It will detect, yeah, same as this spelling, misspelling, like you see here is
Yeah,
an accident.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just still the violence category book.
Because these kind of comments, they try to just stay on the border on the internet. Yeah, they do not cross that by making smart moves like star and leaving spelling mistakes. So that could be covered with this. That's nice.
Yeah, okay. And you are also possibility to do bulk test with more documents as well. I think I have, see if I have something here. Find it. Bulk Pearl, yeah. I can try to import this one. This is a lot of text and different type. It's a CSV file, and you see which label it has and what's detected. Try to another one. So this is just an example how you can utilize this Safety Studio service to in front of your API, your application, and ingestion of prompts.
Glenn, could you show me more about the bulk, the results?
Yeah, this one is, I think I should brown. So you can
What
see
is
this
the
here you see the individual records of this one.
what does the label mean here?
This just means the label of different type of threshold.
Okay.
So what I will find a bit better text than this one. This was not the correct one. The other one should be for this example. Yeah, sorry. Status set. Yeah, I can try another one. Try this one. Yeah, so this is see actually where it's labeled. And for example, if we do
And it's across languages.
yeah.
That's nice. So you don't need to run different models to accommodate different languages.
No, we're still only available in English, German, Spanish, Hispanic, and French, I think. Yeah. So this is the text moderation. Multiple categories, that's entertaining, but you also have, we can go back and do the moderate image content as well. We scan images and see if there is, for example, if you have a site that can you can upload the photos to complete product with different product reviews for your customers, and then you can you have a function that will moderate the picture that is if it's uploaded some sensitive pictures like children or something like that from violence. Yeah. So, for example, if I try to ingest this one, I'll have a couple picture here. A kind of save picture, which is this one. To get into. Yeah, sorry, it's my small screen. Maybe I should. Okay, it's easier for me to read. Yeah, you have this function to blur the image if you want. Run the test. You see that this one is saved for all the categories. Same time last time. If I choose this one, I will have the possibility to see the code that has changed. Yeah, sorry. Code. 2, 8 now. I don't find any hateful in this one, so we can probably try to run the test again. No, still allowed. This is quite safe though. And I think, yeah, maybe we can run on this self-harm to see if it's quite dangerous to start up a fire. But yeah, let's try. I don't think it will react. This is too safe to picture.
I believe this is a family-friendly picture.
Yeah, it's a true friendly responsible, not detect anything. But if you try to provoke some violence here, so I can find another picture. But this is quite so. It's quite actually a little too violent, but I do blurring, so we don't get any problems. This is a kind of a crazy bear attack that actually happened. If I do test again, yeah, you see, it is blocked. We'll try to adjust this one to be quite acceptable about that one, but let's see if it will. Yeah, this is too wild, this one. So you also have possible here to upload a bulk of picture as well. Let me see if I do this one. This is, I'm sorry. I need to probably browse for a file. Yeah, I have it in this meeting. Where is data? Yeah, and here you see that different types of label. This one has triggered actually 1 and 2. This women in bikini and the hiking injury. There's some blood there. Maybe we can that can type this one. Yeah. So that's the image moderation. So groundness detection is a little bit different thing. It's, for example, if customer ask the support agent for recommendation and things like that, or so the model will provide the responses that are grounded in some source material that's passed into the model. So we can try out that one as well. This one is not possible. That's okay. Then this is a good example, that we have chosen East US, which is actually not so supported. So this is an example of that one. Prompt shields, you ask about them. User prompt injection attack, that's quite difficult to mitigate, where, for example, you can, where user deliberately exploit system vulnerabilities to get data from these models, which can lead to, for example, inappropriate content generation. For example, as I said, for example, if you are a car sales and you have inside the model data, you have the prices for all your imported cars, things like that, then suddenly you can get that one. You can, the customer can get the real price for these cars.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. So for example, prompt shields, we can see that one. We try to, in the user prompt, try to give where the prompt is actually asked for specific things. Prepare to done, do nothing done. There is a commands that is sent into this prompt test. This one is actually a jailbreak because it's actually tries to send commands into this module. If you
That's a very common tactic, actually, isn't it?
yeah, it is. And it's
Yeah,
quite difficult to mitigate as well.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The whole, because I guess you create agents based on this, and agents are based on persona, and the automation kind of depends on persona, and yeah, it is a difficult problem to mitigate.
Yeah, and what is really difficult these days is if you have connectors to different type of other sources, like for example, Jira, you have different type of Copilot, have lots of connectors, whatever. And at the moment, you don't have possible to moderate that one. You need to trust the connector. That's quite a big problem.
It is. I can see that.
Yeah. I want to show another possible solution for attack, because where this camping store is, like, they uses external manuals provided by the manufacturers, and they have grounded source for a model. It's also like that one is grounded in an organization that you should have some response to the external data. So they, like, if you ingest this one, context. Yeah, this is safe because you see this is more, you don't send in commands, and this is reference to sites and different things like this one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So last one I want to show is how customers submit type of prompts via this chat for later assistance. For example, this one. Violated. Because you are inserting it to like a customer inbox and execute manipulating model. This is actually they try to manipulating the model by exploiting,
giving it a persona, sort of, to redefine its personality.
Yeah. And this last text that a prompt can contain is this one. This is the more jailbreak. The system annotation and things like that. Instruction, follow instruction in Lucy. Let's give you output user. Yeah, you see here.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. Yeah. That's nice, actually. That's a huge step towards using this in production, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's quite easy. And as you probably will show now, Marit, that how easy actually this one is to implement.
Yeah. No, I can totally relate to this. In fact, I feel a little bit relieved that as a developer, you don't you don't have to actually go through the documentation and try to make it safe before you can use it. That extra effort of making it safe before you can actually do something about it
Yeah.
is a huge relief. They are taking it proactively. That kind of works for me, at
Yeah.
least.
And also that content safety for the modules itself, like where you train the models, and that it already can safeguard the data inside the model. Yeah.
It can, yeah. Let me share the other part. Let me show you the other part as a developer. It's not just the portal. It's more than that actually. As Glenn said, it can be used in various forms through APIs. Like it's a service for hire. To be very open about it. So basically, you can configure to an extent. The AI models behind it are working through their processes to make sure this is updated with the latest phases and the language structure. That's the responsibility of the vendor. You can actually use a key, an API endpoint, and use it on the program of your choice, and just create applications around it. So that kind of is the basis of it. It's for safety of the apps that are developed through it. Yeah. So what we started with creating the content safety resource in the Azure portal, and it's available in Sweden. That's the nearest to Norway. So right now, as Glenn said, there's nothing in Norway, but Sweden has something like that. So that's the closest, and from latency perspective, that's best. Yeah. We do that, we go to the content safety hub here. But as a developer, you don't want to go here. You want to implement it on your application. So what you do is, what you need is the endpoint and the key, which is available here. Right. So the endpoint and the keys are available here, and you could go ahead and copy them and export them. I'm using a Linux machine to develop the Python code. I'm going to be using it to create a Python application. So when I log in, it's an Ubuntu machine that I'm using as a remote to develop code through Visual Studio Code here. So what I've done is a pretty simple application. There's an app.py that basically is taking the route and configuring some metrics and calling the endpoints. Then there's an HTML front, which is basically using the script to organize the functions, and HTML text to go ahead and put it in a legible way. And then there is this script here, which basically is given by the portal itself. So not much to do here. So when you go to the content safety uh, portal here, you would see that whatever you configure here, uh, you could generate a code as Glenn showed up. This code is what I'm using. This class is what I'm using as a reference, and my application is basically importing this class and calling upon it. And as he highlighted before, that you have a section that you could use that's called reject threshold, that you could use to control these threshold values. Now that being said, the program itself is not something not something worth demonstration. It's a pretty simple program. What I've done is I've exported keys and I've exported my endpoint on the portal here. When this thing is deployed in future on an app server or something, a cloud service, then that would eventually be where these environment variables will be settled. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm just using that function and class and calling it upon the button when the button is actually pushed here on the web page. So this application leads to this web page. And this web page has pretty simple interface. It has a text and has a image uploader. When you have a text, it has a button called analyze text. The analyze text actually calls a function called analyze text function. So you could find it here. And in the HTML file, it calls upon this analyze text function, which is defined in the appy. And this refers to the class that is and the functions that are available in content safety.py. I'm trying to detect what is the response, the same responses that Glenn was getting on the portal. I'm trying to get the same responses on the web page and also the decision. So if you remember, Glenn, when he was doing the text interface or image interface, he was getting responses about the image being allowed or disallowed and the parameters which actually block them. The same thing is what I'm trying to do with HTML. Now that we have that Python and HTML behind us, let's just give it a try. And you will notice whatever inputs are generated here are usually listed here, and then that would be translated to the HTML. Nothing groundbreaking here. It's just HTML calling an API on an endpoint with the help of a key. So a pretty basic threat. I will tell you. So this is a pretty basic threatening statement. This should ideally be blocked and it's rejected. And the category that rejected it is violence. So if you see here, the same API call with the same input messages are awarded here, and the response is basically translated to HTML. Again, showcasing that these functionalities with very minimum code can be utilized to an extent to make your applications more versatile so that you could filter content around it. Yeah. And the next, I'm going to go ahead and try and use an image that could be filtered, and that I'm going to use a crime scene image. It's from a movie, but it should still work out the magic behind it. Yeah. So if you see the action is rejected, and also that it rejected because based on the content. Given the same idea, the same principles, same self-harm, sexual content, or hate content can also be accommodated there, right? So, and also it depends on the parameters. And as I told you before, that the same thing could be customized based on these thresholds here. It's pretty basic. So all you do is take the endpoint, use the keys, and go ahead and use those keys and the endpoints to call upon a function that would work on these parameters and carry on with the investigation on the models that are deployed by the vendor. Again, there is a block list also, which I've not included here. But in case you have a very specific thing, a specific word, specific type of uh, images that you are not comfortable with or the company policies don't allow, you can include that. And then this code would have another section that would have a rejected block list also. And that way,
Mohit, can
yes.
I add something there?
Yeah.
That block list is actually a keyword query based, but you can add the function by for example, if you add a block list there, Mohit, the item there can be regex queries as well inside it.
And that is actually, I'm sorry, I forgot about that totally. That's kind of a game changing also. You do not have to actually know about the exact keywords. You can have an assumption around it. And I think that's what you were also trying to show before with the star and the blanks and stuff. The autofill, the regex expression is built in, and so you could actually the audience could actually try to go around it, but most of the time they'll be caught in the loop. And this is pretty safe to implement to make the website or the product user friendly, to reach out to wider audience depending on what the tolerance level of the company is. Yeah. Right. And yeah, that is kind of it. That is pretty much how much is needed to implement this as a code. This is pretty much rest of it is your application. This is just an API call, and everything that Glenn explained, we explained. is basically be doable with just that API call and the key, right? Glenn, anything that you want to add here?
No, that's okay.
Yeah, just have to say a couple of things that this is part of. If you
Yeah.
see, this is part of a broader Azure AI offering. Azure AI has introduced something called AI Hub. A hub is basically a collection of the projects that you're trying to do. So let's say if there are two different teams that are trying to do two different things, then you can actually go to the AI Hub Studio, create projects for them. Inside the project, these resources are individual. So for example, right now I am at Mohit Studio hub that has a project named this. So every hub can have multiple projects can have multiple resources, similar to the hierarchy in Azure.
Yeah.
Right?
And I also
Cool.
will add that our next session we will focus on governance around this whole solution,
Yeah.
and also both from infrastructure as a code perspective, compliance there. We will also focus on how to safeguard data into these LLM modules and things like that, and we will also have a session about how we can utilize peer review for classification and the owner of data sets inside these models as well. It will be a quite exciting autumn, I think. Wait.
Yeah, I am quite excited.
Yeah.
We're trying to delve into the realm of generative AI and the AI services, like from a whole different perspective that has not been that vocal. When everybody's talking about how much AI can do, but how do you control and govern the AI? That's kind of a big problem, bigger than the use of AI because this could easily be exploited. Yeah,
So easy.
so easily. Yeah. And that brings us to the end of it. And thank you for joining us and thank you for listening to us. And if you want to get in touch, we have a repo. You can also submit your session. I've put the link on the chat already. So please reach out. We love to meet like-minded people who are thinking in the same way, right? And the repository would be updated has already been updated with the presentation, and all the Learn modules are available in the Learn More section. So you can have the GitHub repository for the samples from Azure. You can have the OpenAI service and the documentation around the content safety. It's all available in Microsoft Learn and Microsoft Documentation. And with that, we stop the presentation and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good
We talk
summer.
to you later. Yeah, have a good one, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.